Well, welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from the BBB right here in Wisconsin, your Southwest Wisconsin Regional Director, Tiffany Schultz. Tiffany, how you doing today?
I'm great. How about you?
Tiffany, I am doing very well. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad to talk a little outreach today with you and some information on locksmiths and scams. You don't want to be locked out of. There's all the puns here today. I've got to be careful here. You don't want to get locked out on this scam. Let me tell you. Most people, when you need a locksmith, I have locked my keys in the car before. I'm going to say this. The first thing you think about, well, I got to call a locksmith, and you start to like, well, I need to get this done now. Like I'm sitting here stuck, and that's probably where this starts when the scam could get you.
Right, scammers follow the news. And, this isn't really newsworthy. We're talking about more prevention here. So when you need a locksmith, they're probably not at the top of your contact list. You call them when you need them, but you think about them when you need them. So you're locked out of your house, you're locked out of your car. Oh my God, I need a locksmith. So I Google locksmiths near me. That is not the best practice when it comes to locksmith scams. Locksmiths know that you do that. So bad actors, scammers, they advertise at the top of Google because they do place ads. So don't let an ad fool you. And they kind of play off a reputable business name. Their advertising looks very similar. They may be using the reputable business's name. And when you call them, they answer the phone Locksmith Services. So they're not necessarily using the business name when they answer the phone. They're using something very generic. If you come across somebody like that, it's probably best to hang up and do business with somebody else. We do recommend that you find a locksmith ahead of time for when you need them down the road. Do your research earlier. Don't wait until it happens.
Yeah, they're going to catch you in a vulnerable space, and that's, I think, part of a lot of scams is they catch you off guard when you're at your weakest moment, and this one definitely could be there. I see one of the outcomes, even you make the call, they show up, they say one price, but then you're charged another price when they get there. How can we protect ourselves in that front?
That's another red flag. So when you tell them what's wrong, if you're locked out of your house, they'll come out to your home and say, oh, it's only $15. It's super low price. And you're like, oh, I just locked myself out and it's only $15. Okay, great. They get to your home and they have excuses that they're unable to unlatch the lock, so that they say, oh, we need to put a new high security lock in. So then by the time you're all said and done, you've received a lock that isn't any better than the lock that you've had, and you've paid several $100s for it. Any reputable locksmith should be able to get into any door without having to replace the lock. So definitely a red flag if somebody says they need to do unnecessary drilling.
Yeah, and what would be some, if you are going to do some research on some of these companies ahead of time, what are we looking for to figure out if they're reputable or not?
You can check out their advertising. So if you do see an ad at the top of Google, really look and see if that's the real business or if it's maybe somebody who's trying to replicate a legitimate business. So scammers will use websites that are very similar. So they might change a 3 to an E or an E to a 3, or it might not end in .com. It might end in something else. You really want to compare the website with the real website. You can also check out locksmiths on bbb.org. If you do choose to do business with an accredited business, we have already checked out that business and they have pledged their trust in the marketplace as well. So when you are on bbb.org, you want to look at their ratings, you want to look at their reviews, you want to look at their complaints and how those complaints were resolved as well. So really check them out ahead of time. Don't wait until you need a locksmith.
And then in that vulnerable moment, if you are in a place where you haven't done the research ahead of time and you are trying to make that call, I see some information here on making sure you ask a lot of questions before they ever even step foot out the door to come rescue you.
Yes, ask those questions. If anything seems off, it's probably best to do business with somebody else. Get the details in writing as well. Extremely important before somebody comes out. Don't just hand over your credit card. Make sure all those details are in writing. You can also ask friends and family for recommendations as well. Sometimes there's community Facebook pages out there. You can ask for recommendations on there as well. But really do your research. Ask cost-wise, the service call, what they expect to have to be done. Get that information in writing before they even come on out.
And then, as always, if you have that, also getting an invoice or sales slip at the end of the day, kind of a nice a piece if you do have to go back and deal with a situation.
Yes, and the invoice should have all contact information on it too. It should have the name of the business, the address of the business, the contact, how to get in touch with this person. Ask if there's any warranty on the work that they've done as well. You want to have that piece of paper in hand, because if you do need to file a complaint, if you need to file a report, a scam report, you want to have the information in writing of who you dealt with and the paper trail in front of you.
Absolutely. Tiffany, thank you so much for the information. Again, if people want to find out more about accredited business or safety information around this topic, where can they go?
BBB.org.
Tiffany, you're the best. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, and we'll check back in with you real soon.
Thanks for having me.
All right, it's Tiffany Schultz here from BBB, serving Wisconsin here. We appreciate her time as always. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.